Well, good morning. Hey, hope you're doing great. Hope you're woke up just ready to go. Get yourself that cup of coffee and let's get into some guitar news. We got a bunch of stuff lined up. But first off, that song was Song for My Father, Horace Silver. And it's kind of a funny song. It's not that funny. It's just it's a good tune. And here's the funny thing about it. I guess it is a funny song. Is you can play the blues scale, just F blues, throughout the whole thing. Throughout the whole, even though the chords change, you know, you can play the blues scale. You know how you can play the blues scale. When you're playing blues, you play a blues scale. And that's all well and good. But today we're going to talk about the blues scale a lot. Did she bring the rundown? Did Gail bring in that? Maybe not. Anyway, we're going to talk about this a lot, just using a blues scale. So it's going to be interesting because I did a lot of lessons on the blues scale, and I wrote books on it, and I just found out. I'm not just found out. As I was doing it, I was thinking, I don't know the blues scale as well as I really should, and I think a lot of people are like that. So we're going to get into that, and we actually have all my blues scale potential, I call them, on sale now. This blues scale potential, because the blues scale speaks deeply to the souls, and it's crazy. So we're going to be messing around with that.
Hey, can you turn your mic up a little bit?
Yes.
Talking mic.
Testing. How's that? Is that better?
I'll find out in a second.
Okay, so W.C. Ray. What's happening, W.C.? Gail's here.
His name is Robin, right? I believe, right?
No.
W.C., is your name Robin?
Is his name Robin? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe so. It mofo. Nice. On the road. Hey, Red's great playing. How do you get such a good volume balance guitar and vocals when the mic is so far from your mouth? I don't know. It's with those knobs. You turn the knobs till it's right. As Les Paul said, we had a knob and we had to turn it. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee.
See, I was right. His name is Robin.
His name is Robin. Okay. Thank you, honey. Here we are in Pee Wee's Playhouse, Gail calls it. This is where I do my lessons, my Skype lessons, and I film videos in this little room. This amp looks different. Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. That amp is different. So hi, Tom Johnson, John Reedley. Good audio. Well, that's good. Let's start. We're going to talk about this amp later on. This amp is a Quilter Cub, which I like the name of that. Remember the Cubs, the Cub Scouts. Timothy Patchen says, howdy, Pee Wee. Hi, Timothy Patchen. How are you today? Tom Johnson, hello. Nice hearing from you. Unhappy gas prices Thursday. Is that unreal, the price of gas? I mean, we went over to the coast about 30 miles away for 2 days. I came back and gas was up 10 cents. So now instead of $4.99, excuse me. We came back, it was $4.99 at this gas station over here, which is the cheap one in Atascadero. $4.99 for gas. The next day, I take my car out for a drive. I come back the same way, same gas station, $5.10. One day, $5.10. What kind of crap is that? And yet, let's buy gas from Russia still. Do you remember when we were energy independent, right? We've been talking about being energy independent for decades and decades and decades, from the 70s. Trump finally does it. Biden comes in. It's history. Bullshit. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, well, politics talk is next week, so let's end that.
Yeah, it's total crap. It doesn't have to be like, write your congressman. My heart. All right, so, all right. here's the big news. Here's big news here. Look at this. Wes designed this little thing. Can you see that? You want to do this, camera? Custom string jazz blend. Thick, deep tones, fat, high notes, strings that play like butter, baby. These are Diodario Chrome Brights. In it, you get a 13, 15, a 20, 28, 38, 48. And also you get the 10 and the 14 that came with the set. So when you open up the set, this is the gauge I've been using for years. I was so sick of the way the strings felt. I sat down and I bought a bunch of strings, and this is what I put together. So, but actually I think I did it with Tomastic at the time or something. In this you get a set of 6 strings, and this has a 10 and a 14. We replaced the 10 with a 13, and I replaced the 14 with a 15. It doesn't sound like much, does it? To replace one string with one 1/100th of an inch fatter. But I tell you, swear to God, it makes a difference. So I learned a long time ago, for me, the D string and the G string is what wears my hand. Wears my hand out. So I like those two a little lower, smaller, And then when you get real big fat strings, I think your guitar is unbalanced, especially when you start walking bass lines. And you start realizing, wow, the bass is popping out, and then you got to adjust your pickup. You kind of have to adjust your pickup anyways. So you get a nice even tone with this gauge. Plus, it's easy to play. And then the high end, you don't get that tinky tink sound. So if you want a 13 on top, you have to buy it, and you usually end up with a 56 or 58 on bottom, which is way too big. So we're talking 48. So that's a big difference between that. So if you want to try my sets, they're going to be on the website, guitarcollege.net. And I think Gail did put the link in the subscription of today's live stream. I think they're $22, something like that. And anyway, otherwise you got to buy 2 sets of strings, or you got to go out and buy them yourself. This way it's done for you, and try them out and see how you like them. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And by the way, if you keep them clean, excuse me, I sounded like that Wookiee. They'll last a long, long, long time. Okay. Dave. Which Dave is this? Unhappy gas price. Okay. Stefan, I can't pronounce it. Didn't Charlie Christian use blues scales? I got a tune called Charlie's Blues from the Complete Jazz Guitar. Well, I think everybody did, Everybody uses them. They're part of the vocabulary, In Australia, we buy petrol on the liter, not gallon, and it goes up 20 cents in one day. That's ridiculous. And, gas goes up. Everything else goes up. Beer, wine. Now you're really hitting home there. Guitars, because you got to truck it. Eggs, milk, everything goes up because of gas. Duh. Shit. Whoops, did I say that? Price of gas in Norway has doubled more or less the last year. No Biden here. Nobody affects the world. Break out the swing with the banana seat. I use Tomastic Jazz Swing, 12, 16, 20, 27, 37, 50. Well, that sounds like a nice gauge. Even a 12, though, I don't think is high enough. You might try a 13 on there. Okay, those custom available. Yes, they are. They're available on the website, guitarcollege.net. Tim Patchen, do you wear your hands out? I can't get my action down that low. When you chord, get an electric car. Oh, what the hell are you saying, Tim? Yeah, okay. I don't want an electric car, to be honest. All right, so it's hard to get a 55 Ford electric. What else, Wes? News here. Oh, the tuners. Okay, I bought some of these tuners too. They're on the website as well. And this is the tuner. I think I showed it last week. It's got a beautiful, beautiful display. It's better than, I've got a lot of Diodario products, and I've used them all, and this is the best tuner yet. It's just nice display.
But that's not even the cool thing about it.
The cool thing is it's rechargeable. So you don't have to worry about batteries and all that stuff. It's rechargeable. You can do 24 hours of tuning on one charge. So those, again, are on the website. I forget how much they are. I think they're $27, something like that. So buy two. Excuse me, you guys. I'm just getting into playing jazz guitar after learning classical for a couple of years. Would a second-hand Epiphone .335 be okay for getting started? 335 is like a blues guitar. It's okay. Why not, if you're going to get a Epiphone, why don't you get a Joe Pass, something like that, or so a bigger body. Get a bigger body. I too prefer an automobile. Yes. I have trouble with tuner brightness when playing outside. I agree with that. I haven't had this out in the bright sun, but I have a feeling it's going to be a lot better than the ones I've had in the past. Do you have arthritis in your hands? I am starting to get it, and your hands have the same shaped fingers. You poor son of a gun.
Those claw-shaped fingers.
Yeah, here you go. Now I understand that this can be fixed. This is like a tendon thing, I guess, is what I just recently found out. Yeah. Or get an Ibanez box, something big. Get a bigger box than the 335. I just sold that one Ibanez that I had. We did a little video on. I thought it played pretty good and it sounded pretty good. And for the money, gee whiz. All right, what else? Oh, so we went to the coast for Gail's birthday. She had a little birthday. She's born on February 29th, so she doesn't get an official birthday. But and she's only like 16 or 17, but so I could get thrown in jail. But we went over there and we had a good time. We spent the night at a beautiful hotel. We walked on the beach, had a great time, and then we like to go into antique stores and look around and thrift stores and just kind of walk around. It was a very nice day. But I always seem to find something there. And check this out. Wes, you got to get on this. Here is the car, exactly like this car I had in high school. Look at that thing. That is the exact color. That car was so beautiful. And it was super fast. So we had this when I got married, and it was No power steering, no power brakes. I didn't want anything to drag on the motor. It was more important to have full horsepower. But that was kind of dumb. But that's when you could order it. It comes in 16 colors. And I love the description on this. If we have time, I should read it to you. It's funny. But, you know, when I got that car, I was surprised my mom let me get it. But, because I was in high school. But she did. And she signed for me. I made the payments, supposed to have it anyways. And I did. I made the payments. What else? But when I got that car, I was so nervous. Number one, I was nervous because I didn't want to wreck it. And get it bumped. And she always said that. I wanted you to have a real nice car so you'd be super careful with it. Then you'd be safe. If the car's safe, you'd be safe. So that's a good point. If you got a beater, you're not going to, you know.
Pretty good logic.
It is good logic.
So why didn't you use that same logic for me?
Well, that's a good question, Wes. Tell him what your first car was.
68 Plymouth Valiant. Yeah, I bought it right down the street from an old man who took really good care of it. It was nice.
Yeah, it was.
What was like $1,500 though? It was pretty.
Yeah.
$2,000, $1,500, something like that.
Right.
I mean, it was no '69 Roadrunner.
No, it wasn't.
Nothing.
It was a cruiser. It was a cruiser, and that car. Do you remember the brakes stuck on it? We put on power brakes, and the brakes would stick and lock, and you couldn't get them off.
Yeah, that car had a few issues that we could not dial it in.
It had a slant six. You had to be careful if in the rain because the distributor's down by the ground. It's like, what a design, you know. Get all wet. Jeez. But that was a cool. It was like a surf mobile. You and your friends piled in that.
Yeah, there's actually a guy in Pismo that has one right in town. I see it all the time. It's
Really?
a blue one. It's the exact same thing. Yeah, super cool. Definitely.
Yeah. The 69 Roadrunner wasn't my first car. My first car was a 64 Falcon panel wagon. That thing was owned by a plumber. It came with a heater delete. In other words, it didn't even come with a heater, but it had a radio. And my mom said, you got to have a heater. So she had the guy next door put it in. And that was a cool car. That was a cool car. But this Roadrunner was... Anyway, I was afraid of getting it bumped. And also, I was afraid people would think I'm spoiled, which I was. But it's kind of like owning a real nice guitar. It's like, oh, I don't deserve this. What kind of logic is that? Stupid. But anyway, of course you deserve it. 68 Plymouth Valiant sounds awesome. It'd be worth a fortune here in Australia. That's right. When we got that car, or no, was another car. I noticed that there are overseas. They love the American cars, don't they?
Yeah, Dave says he had a '68 Dodge Dart, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, Dodge Dart. Was it 2-door or 4?
Yeah, that's true. My friend had a '69 Dodge Dart in high school, and it was a 2-door. It looked a little cooler, I think, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Rich, do you do private lessons? Yes, I do. I do Skype lessons. So get on board if you'd like to do that. I give a lesson, to people once a month, once every couple of weeks, depending on where they want to be. And if you do an hour lesson with me, I give you a month for free on the Guitar College website so you can get on there and get your stuff.
There should be a link for Skype lessons in the description of this live stream. or
Oh.
you can go to guitarcollege.net and look on the side. It says Skype lessons.
Thank you, Wes. Good job. A two-door Dodge Dart. Sweet, man.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's fun.
Remember we bought that one for Adam? I had my cousin's kid living with us, and we bought a Dodge Dart for him, and he was going to fix it up. Well, that didn't work. Jimmy Rolfe, what's happening, Jimmy Rolfe and Kirby? You guys getting ready for camp? Our camp is filling up. It's doing really great, man. It's filling up, and we got Ron Eshtay coming. Come on, man. Ron Eshtay knew Howard Roberts, right? He knew Joe Pass. He knew everybody and plays his ass off and just a wonderful, funny guy. So it's going to be really cool to have Ron Eshtay with us. So, yeah, the camp. If you can't make it this year, come make it next year. Set your goal to make it next year. If we have it next year, you never know. You never know what could happen. We might have another outbreak, or gas might be so high you couldn't get there. Okay, where are we at here, Wes? By the way, if you like what Wes does, he does these camera angles and stuff and entertains you. And if you like it, leave him a tip, please. I'm going to play another song. There he was. And this is also in F minor, and it's another example of how you can play F minor through a whole crap load full of chords. So the bridge goes G minor 7 flat 5, CR 7 sharp 9, F minor 7, B flat 7, B flat minor, A flat minor, C7 sharp 9, whatever, F minor. And I'm just going to play the F blues scale till I'm blue in the face. Let's see if it works. This is Kenny Burrell's song. And this is Kenny Burrell guitar. to use F, C minor blues. Now back to the head. It's cool sound, right? I mean, you can play over the chord changes, which I often do, but it's kind of neat to play just F blues, and the chords react to the blues sound. You know what I mean? There's a reaction going on, and that's what it's like. Wow, that's kind of cool. So, what do you want to do now? Wait a minute, let's take a look here. What do we got here, Wes? Gibson guitar's still around. Yeah, but if you want a nice Gibson, buy a Heritage. Just kidding. Gibson makes nice guitars, but do they make an L5 anymore? I don't even know if they do anymore. Or do they make? I think they still make 175s. You make it sound easy. Thank you. Do you recommend doing a full setup when changing strings from round to flat wound? Well, yeah, you do your guitar needs to be adjusted all the time. You know, it's something that you really want to do on a regular basis because, especially these arch tops, they change. You know, string. You know, we're talking about a real low tolerance here as far as distance. You know what I mean? Distance. I have my frets, my strings so close to the frets I could probably breathe on it. Listen. See how that works? And so if something changes, the guitar is not right. So you always you have to adjust this. Sometimes you might have to adjust the bridge. It depends on if the top goes up or down. It's just one of those things. Yes, this is Kenny Burrell Heritage. See, it says Kenny Burrell there. Isn't this a beautiful guitar? You should see the back. Okay. Oh, shoot, I dropped my pick, Wes. Hold on. All right, what do you want to do, Wes? You want to do some news or you want to do...
No, you have a lesson.
I have a lesson. Oh, blues scale shapes. Okay, so let's do a lesson on the blues scale. So often, we only learn this one. Okay, so that is the E shape of the blues scale, right? Now, when I say play the blues scale, I mean play the blues scale and nothing else. Don't be throwing any other notes in there. Now, when you really listen to a blues scale, nope, this will be another lesson when later on we talk about the dynamics of the blues scale. Let's just talk about the shape. So this is the E shape. Now, the next shape that I want to show you is this shape here. Now this is the D shape, right? Here's a D chord, right? F. Oh. See how I'm playing that? You have a different approach. The different shapes, you play them differently. Now you can play the B here. You can play it here if you want. Right? Because the blues scale is root, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5, lowered 7, root. And that's all it is, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. Okay? So this is D shape. Now the next shape is going to be a C shape. So basically here's my C chord like this, like an F chord, C like this. And if we want, we can include those notes. Whoop, add a note. So far I have you learn how to connect them. Okay, the next shape is going to be your A shape. So now, okay, so far I've got E shape, D shape, C shape, A shape, and now the A shape, C, A, then the G shape. See, like a G chord for an F chord there. And then I'm back to my E shape. So if I started here on my E shape, and then my G shape, and then my A shape, and then what was the next one? C shape. And then my D shape. The tone, the volume's too low on the guitar. And then my okay, so if I can jump around those shapes, you can get, let me just play that thing again. Oh, let's play another song. No, tell you what, we'll do that later. All right, so learn your blues scale, learn all the shapes because you play them differently and you can get different things in them. I tell you, don't just blow off the blues scale and just play one shape. You got to make sure you play all the shapes and then you learn to mix them up. Later on, I'm going to show you why, because to give you a hint is because you want to play different, like a C blues and an F blues. You want to bounce back and forth between those two, depending on what chord's being played. Or like in the key of C major, I might go A blues, E blues, C blues. So they're all sitting within the same area of the guitar if you learn all your shapes. Does that make sense? I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you and good night.
So wait, are you going to do another lesson on this later?
Later in the day? Yeah,
Later in the show?
yeah, I was.
Okay, good.
Should I play a tune now with connecting the shapes, or should we do something else?
I don't know.
All right.
No, we should answer some questions.
Answer questions.
Jim Rolfe, he bought the first set of strings. He wins. Way to go.
Oh, Jimmy Rolfe. Hey, that's great, Jimmy Rolfe. Thank you.
Made a special prize for the very first person.
Yeah. Here, we'll give. Here, let me show you how to give him a shout out. Yeah, way to go, Jim.
Oh no, that's awesome though.
Yeah. Francis Fort Gale, Severson, where is info about single strings, about string sales? Oh, okay. Timmy Patchen said, did you throw number 5 in order in one of those? It sounded great. Oh, did I throw a sharp 5 in? No. I didn't mean to. Stating the obvious to many, different shapes offer different phrasing opportunities. Well, why didn't I say that? How do you pronounce that fella's name there?
Kalanji?
Kalanji Jones? You got Kalanji and you got Jones. It's funny. Well, that's funny. Kalanji, I've never heard that. Nice name. Oh, hey, Ann. How are you? Ann says, yes, play a song.
Well, maybe you should.
You know? Ann is a wonderful guitarist. I think you're from Canada, right? She studies with me. This is Cantaloupe Island. And this isn't a band in a box track. This is my friends Gary Newmark on Roland drum pads and Roy Carlson on the 5-string bass. I'm going to use some C minor blues. Back to F minor. Yeah, I still don't know the blues scale as well as I did. You know, you've really got to work on it. So, you know, that's the way it is. Hey, Rob Riggs. Hi, Rob Riggs. Glad you could make it. Okay. So anyway, the chords to that song, you know, it's F minor, and then it goes to this, to A flat minor or D flat 9. And how does that relate to F minor? Right? Well, look at if some of the chords in an F minor blues, one of them is a minor 7 flat 5. That, isn't that a pretty sound? Pretty chord. All right, so you might want to also look at it as A flat minor 6. So that chord is part of the blues scale, and that's why it works. Isn't that crazy? So there you go. I rest my case. Wes, you got any news?
Rest.
Wes.
I think everyone needs to. Let's stick with the rundown here.
What is the? I lost my place. I don't know what.
Let's talk about your amp. And people want to know what's going on with that amp back there.
Okay. Now, as you might know, the Mach 2 Quilter, which I have been advocating for years, that it's the greatest amp since amp was invented. And Pat Quilter is a genius. And so I got this. So they're not making it anymore. They're moving it up to the Mach 3, which is a different animal. But kind of looks like this, and we'll show that some other time. But the Quilter Cub, this is called. And check out the knobs here, Wes. Can you get in there and see? Mm-hmm. You've got, is that as close as you can get?
Yep.
Okay. You've got here you plug in here for tweed, for blonde, or blackface. Okay, you got a gain knob, a limiter, a bass, a mid, and a treble. You have a reverb, an effects loop. You also have signal output. And then a headphone output. And you also have a speaker volume at the end. So you can use this directly with your computer and not worry about ruining it because you've disengaged the speaker. So the deal is, I got this, and in my room I thought, man, I just, you know, it sounds good, but, you know, I'm so used to that 8-inch speaker, and I just really liked it, and it was what I'm used to and stuff. But so I've had this about a year and never took it out to play with it. Well, since they stopped making the 8-inch or the Mach 2, I said, well, I'll go out and check this out. I was very, very happy with it. I thought you know what it sounded like? It sounded like an old Fender Deluxe, or old, like Tweed Deluxe, like an old Fender Bassman amp. I thought, this is really nice. And it just had a great tone on it. And it wasn't all big and boomy. And, you know, because you look at this and you think, oh, well, okay, I got a kind of a bigger cabinet. And is this thing going to be like Boom City, you know, boomy and everything? But then I looked at the speaker, and it's a specially designed speaker. And Pat Quilter is trying to get it to be, I mean, it's a flat speaker. It doesn't have a bunch of low end boosts and all that crud. So it was just, I was like, wow. I was very impressed. And then I didn't even know the price of it. They had sent it to me, and I didn't even know the price of it. But I looked up the price, and they sell it for $649. So I thought, holy crap. Now, hey, Wes, did you get the specs on that? Where the can you go to that Quilter link?
Yeah.
Were you planning on going to that?
I can. Yes.
Yeah. So if you scroll down a little.
There's the buttons.
Oh, can you scroll down?
Yeah.
So 12-inch speaker, low powered amp, 50 watts. Okay, which, you know, 50 watts. I was playing with a 6-piece band. It seemed to do just fine. So, but scroll down on the specs.
This is all the specs.
No, you can't scroll down? No, there's a whole ton of things.
No, that's it. This is the bottom of the page, and here are all the specs.
Look, see where it says specs manual? Click on that. Can you click on
Owner's manual?
This Aviator Club. Where are you at? Where's your mouse? I don't see it.
I don't see what you're looking
You
at.
see where the stars are? Aviator Club. And it says one review, specs manual, frequency, artists, all that stuff.
Nope.
I'm staring right at it. You don't see that.
Oh, here we go. Specs manual.
Yeah. There. Okay, so
exactly where we were.
I said, well, yeah, but I didn't see that. That wasn't showing that. All right, so anyway, look at it. Weighs 21 pounds, which is nice, right? Comes with a cover. It's a little bit bigger than the Mach 2. It's got a effects loop, headphone output, specially designed 12, the Quilter specially designed 12. 50 watts, and there you have it. It's a nice little amp, man, and we're going to be able to sell it a little cheaper. So you have to call to get one. So I'm excited about it now. I was bummed because you know, the Mach 2, I just love that thing, and but so anyway, that is that. And you know, it gets all the distortion and all that crud, and you know, you go online in the videos, and most of it is all on that. By the way, that's all I'm playing through today. Usually I've been going direct, but I said let's go through that. So yeah, if you're interested in one of those, give me a buzz.
Earlier there was a comment. Is that Quilter trying to pass as a mini brute?
Well, mini brute's half this size. Mini brute's tiny little thing. So, no, it's not. Mini Brute. Yeah, those are a nice idea, but God, they sounded, I didn't dig them. Robin Riggs, vibro verb. Yeah, I wish I had my vibro verb. I had a vibro verb that my mother bought me when I turned 13. I got a Fender Telecaster and a vibro verb. We had a vacation trailer. My dad passed away when I just turned 12. She sold the vacation trailer, and for my birthday, I didn't know where we were going. We just were driving in the car one day, and she pulls into Ernie Ball Guitars, and I said, "What are we doing here?" And she said, "Come on in, let's go." Go in there, and my guitar teacher's there, Bill Euchre, and we want to buy an electric guitar. So which one? Which one are we going to get? You know, back in those days, they had, at Ernie Ball Guitars, they had the guitars displayed in their cases. So it was like going and looking at coffins or something, you know. The guitar was displayed in the case, and they didn't have like gazillion hanging from the ceiling, right? They were just all around, or maybe had 10 or 12. And so, of course, everybody wants the Jazzmaster. It's got more knobs. And Bill says, "No, what the guitar you want is the Telecaster." And I looked at him and I thought, "Oh, gosh, it's not cool looking." But he didn't steer me wrong, and I sure wish I would have kept that. And then what amp you going to get? Well, at the time you could get a Princeton, a Deluxe, a Vibro I think a Vibrolux as well, and a Showman. Well, I didn't want a Showman, but Bill said, "Get the Vibro Verb." That is, and this whole process took about 3 hours, because everybody played that guitar. You know, Chips Hoover was there, and they were jamming and everything, and just having a blast. And I was just sitting there watching them all, and that was fun time. So I got a vibro verb, and I even went down, and one time I said, "You know, Mom, I'm playing bass now, you know." So I took my amp down and traded it for a Bassman. Well, she was really upset with me for doing that. So she went down and bought the Bassman and got back my amp. And then, being the genius that I am, one day I decided to trade that straight across for a mini bike. No, not a mini bike, a Echoplex. God, stupid. Anyway, vibro verb. You brought up some memories there, Robin. Okay, enjoying the free lessons, learning something each week, such as do chords from Green Dolphin Street. Well, that's wonderful. That's the key. You want to keep learning, right? Don't just keep playing the same old stuff. Try to keep learning.
Yeah, and they're talking about, of course, our new Freebie Friday lesson. So if you're not on the email list to get a free lesson every Friday, then you need to do it. There's likely a link in this description, or you can go to guitarcollege.net, find the Freebie Friday thing, sign up for it, because there's going to be a new one coming out tomorrow. You get a free lesson tomorrow if you sign up. All you got to do, put your email in there. It takes you 30 seconds. Look for the email tomorrow, coupon code, add it to the library. You got a lesson. Super easy. And like you said, you learn new stuff for free for every week.
Yeah. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Have it. Do. So today's lesson here we're gonna work on tuning. All right. I use a Harkinson. I did buy factory direct from Colorado. It's best for arch tops and acoustic. I like it a lot. Those are nice amps. And I considered that talking to Peter. Actually, I wrote a little thing to him. I never heard back, but he's always said, man, let me know when you want an amp and stuff. So, okay. They're expensive, but they're a nice amp. There's no doubt about it. But I am getting one from Razor's Edge, one of their amps, and we're going to check that out too.
Someone asked earlier, have you ever owned a Larry Coryell signature guitar? I'm guessing no, right?
No, isn't that a Washburn or something like that?
A Quart, I believe.
Oh, is it a Quart?
I dug up a picture of it.
Oh, I bet you that's pretty nice, you know. You know, it's funny, you know, I remember seeing him at the NAMM show playing this and stuff, and then you watch for a while, you know, and you think, wow, that's great, you know, and stuff, and then you move on to the next flashy thing, and then he dies, you know, and it's like, why didn't I stand there and go talk to him and pick his brain and bug him until he made me leave? You know, it's stupid. I remember doing that with Howard Roberts and Herb Ellis. You walk around and here's Howard Roberts playing a chord melody, and I forget the Booth, Gibson, I think, and just sounding great. And then you watch for a few minutes, and then, you know, then you leave, and then you realize, God, I should have spent the frickin' whole day there. Okay, hindsight. A Fender Harvard amp. Very sweet. I did a recording with one of those, and it's a real sweet amp, no doubt about it. Harvard, yeah. Rob, a great story about Bill Euchre. Yes, I miss Bill too. Can't go back, can we, Rob? But we can reminisce. Okay, so where we at? Wes, do you have any news, or is it break time? Or
yeah, yeah, maybe we should take a quick break and come back. I got guitar news.
Guitar news?
I got a really funny story for you guys. You'll love it. I promise you, you're going to love it. At least one out of the three that I picked out. So that's not 333%. Yeah, that's good. Good average.
Okay.
And then you got the rest of that blues lesson you were going to talk about too, right?
Right, and then we're going to do BREEZIN and talk about how to use blues scales in that. And then whatever questions you want. So we're going to take a little break. This is the sign for break. Going to take a break. And we'll be back in 5 minutes. Count them.
Yeah, 5 minutes. We're going to play a song from one of his albums and enjoy it. You should like it.
Oh, Jumpa Java, yeah. Okay, well, there it is.
Unmute mine too.
All right, so here we are. Just a little break. We lost some viewers, but that's okay. They needed a break too. So, Wes, what do you got in store for us there?
We got some news. Hold on, stand by.
Oh, wait a minute. Robin says my Schaefer is being glued back together as we speak. Yeah, he said, well, some of the binding came loose on the pick guard. Is that right? There was something else he said. Something happened to it. But anyway, Schaefer, nice guitar, man. I found you looking up reviews on Eastman guitars. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's nice. Well, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. All right. What do you got going on, Wes?
So.
What the heck is that?
I got a few stories here. So, you know, we love collecting guitars, old Fenders from the 60s.
Right.
You know, the more beat up looking, the better sometimes. You know, they're considered these relics. But check out this one that just popped up on eBay. Yeah. It's pretty much burnt to a crisp, yet the person is asking in the UK £1,500, which is it's about $2,000. But yeah, there's a look at it there.
What? It's burned?
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't say exactly what happened to it. It obviously was burnt in some sort of set on fire by something.
What's the headstock look like?
Yeah, there's a bunch of photos.
Oh, nice. That looks nice.
There you go. So there's, and it's funny because it says pre-owned. It doesn't say like parts or not working. It says pre-owned, which I thought was funny. And it also has some. I don't know if it's really a joke because some of the wording in the description is kind of funny, like maple neck with the charcoal fingerboard, tuner buttons, melted condition. But does it make you wonder though? What do you think the tonal properties are of charcoal?
Oh, I bet you it's a smoking guitar. Man.
I wonder what it sounds like.
Oh yeah.
And I'm guessing it does not work. But yeah, so
those are probably the original strings too.
Yeah, it might need a new set of strings. Might need a fret job. You never know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another story we got here is so Gibson has come out with this this new little mini documentary, they're calling it, about her name is Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Has anybody heard of her before? Because I hadn't, and neither has my dad. And which were, I think we know most of these big name guitar players, especially from back in yesteryear. But according to Guitar.com, she is she was one of the first person to blend spiritual lyrics with electric guitar playing, and apparently had a huge impact on musicians like Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis. And
Turns out
she was one of the first people to use distortion, heavy distortion in her playing, which caught on with people like Keith Richards, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck. But here's the craziest part about it is she says, or the documentary claims that in 1951 she did a performance at Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. in front of 25,000 people.
Wow.
So in 1951, 25,000 people. That's huge. I mean, that's well before the Beatles started taking over.
Sure.
These.
Well before Elvis.
Yeah, and she was apparently packing these theaters. So yeah, you can maybe take a little.
My
listen,
first moment
but
with
it's hard to kind of tell.
was
You could hear some of the music in the documentary, but she was interesting. She was an interesting.
she had.
You know what?
the
I
hair
have
and the
seen her
dress and the
before.
posture.
And but I just kind of I didn't pay too much attention to it, but yeah, I have seen her before. Yeah, that's amazing.
For that long ago, I mean, packing a stadium like that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last story that I have here is brings me a lot of hope, because we had talked. I mean, if you guys have been watching our show, we had been talking about how all these jazz festivals don't really feature jazz musicians. Mainly the New Orleans Jazz Fest was featuring Willie Nelson and the Foo Fighters and Jimmy Buffett, everything but jazz, it seemed like.
Right.
But there's in Onondaga County, New York. This is where Syracuse is. this guy is trying to bring back a jazz festival, and the county just gave him $125,000
Wow.
to put on this jazz fest.
Wow.
And so what happened was this particular jazz fest had been going on for like 30-something years. It ended in 2017, so before COVID. So it wasn't like COVID wiped it off the map. It just kind of lost its guster. It stopped running. So this guy's gonna bring it back. The organizer's supposed to be bringing it back, and he got this huge chunk of money from the county. So that makes me wonder if we want to start our jazz guitar festival in San Luis Obispo County.
Right.
Should I start attending these board of supervisors meetings and start drumming up the support and maybe hit a city council meeting?
Yeah.
And see what we could get. Could we see what we could get? Could you imagine what we could do with $125,000?
Well, we could get 125 acts.
Yeah.
Right.
Pay $1,000 each.
Pay them 120 acts. Yeah.
So I don't know. That was interesting to me because I think a lot of these cities and counties are probably looking for people to, kind of keep the jazz culture alive, where it's definitely been dying down. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we can. Like I said, maybe I'll start heading over to one of those meetings. I mean, I'm familiar with city council meetings, board of supervisors meetings from working in the news. I've covered them extensively, and they're just so boring.
They're the boring, I hear you. Yeah.
So redundant. And so it might actually be fun if some random guy got up there and be like, hey, I got something fun for all you boring people. Let's start a show and give me money. But even if we could get $50,000.
You could bring in some real nice acts. You know.
And bring in some real, and make it, and the idea would be to make it a jazz festival, not some like jazz festival featuring all these rock guys and whatever.
Right.
But bring in some of these guys that are, that are people want to see, and then what's cool about it here in San Luis Obispo County is you could pair it up with like you make it like a wine and jazz thing. Yeah. And then even more people would come because, everyone loves wine.
Everybody loves wine. Wine and jazz go together like what?
Like wine and cheese, maybe? Maybe not that good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like there's enough venues around here to get something going. So
boy, you could really do something with that. I think that would be a good thing for you to do. Vacaville, Eddie Davis says Vacaville. What do they do one there, Eddie?
I've actually covered a Vacaville City Council meeting for sure. That was in the Bay Area viewing area, and yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah, and then if I do go to a meeting, I can give you guys all the links, and then so you know how you can watch all those meetings and stuff live now, and you can in the comments be like, yeah, this guy's onto something. Yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, look at all these people that are like loving this guy's idea.
Yeah.
Just orchestrate it all and make it happen.
Right. Yeah. That would be cool. I mean, why not? Why not try? Right? Yeah. Why not try?
I know, especially since I have so much free extra time.
Well, we all do. We all have nothing but time. I guess somebody didn't. After your political comments regarding Trump, Biden, I'm signing out. I am here for music, not politics. By the way, get an electric car if you are upset over gas prices. Don't blame Biden. Okay. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, and so am I. So, see ya. Let's see. Eddie Davis, Vacaville has a jazz-only festival. Wow. Winton heard about it and stopped in at the local guys. Well, that's cool. That's cool. Wow. Gee, Eddie, why don't you get the Rich Severson Jazz Quartet to play at it? He was on his way to the Monterey Jazz Festival. How cool. That's very cool. Well, it's funny, like Fresno was kind of an in-between spot for all the concerts. And, they'd stop in Fresno in between L.A. and San Francisco. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, Paul McCartney was there when he started his tour. They did all the rehearsals in Fresno. It was a big hush-hush thing. And so nobody knew about it until after it happened, except for some sound people. Very interesting, huh? Okay. Let's play a tune. And we're going to do BREEZIN. We did BREEZIN last week. And that is a wonderful tune. And since we're focusing in on blues scales, basically this is taken from the blues scale potential because we don't realize how powerful that is. By the way, Wes, good job on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, really good. So that's good. And there was some comments that you had told me before, but forgot. You knew that was at her wedding, that she had all those people or something like that.
Yeah, I did read that, but the way that the article I read it was a little weird how they worded it, so I wasn't sure what it was. But even so, what a trip to have a wedding with 25,000 people there.
Yeah, really.
I mean, that must have been something. Seriously.
Yeah. All right, so BREEZIN is one of these tunes that goes 1-6-2-5 over and over and over and over again. And it's kind of a light and breezy. It's a great title, right? And so, now, over the C chord, I have many options. One of them is I could play A minor blues. So that would be blues based off the 6. So 1, 2, up a C scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So A minor. Now, when you first listen to a blues scale, think about this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. But these 3 notes lead to this note. So you hear how you gotta hear the next note, right? So if we focus on this note, the 5th note of the blues scale, as potentially being a target note, and that in the key of A minor blues, that would be the 3rd of C. So of course, right? Okay. So let me play BREEZIN. And I'm going to just use that scale. So that has a certain sound as it reacts to that big, fat, major sound of the song, right? Now let's take another scale. Let's take an E minor blues scale. And what we're going to do is, if we look at our E minor blues scale, The fifth note is the major 7. Okay, so now I'm starting the blues scale based off the third of a major chord, and it brings out that major 7. Let's hear it. Okay. Okay, here's my E blues. All right, here's your E blues. So that has a different texture of sound, right? We're focusing in on the major 7th. Now, if I combine the two, if I have A blues and then E blues, I can get a lot of cool little things. A, E, A, E, here's A, here's E, A, E, now I'm trying not to hit any other notes besides that. Okay? Now, of course, we could probably throw in the C blues if we want to really get a blues sound. So I could throw that puppy in as well. If I just stick with the C blues, it gets it's a little too out. But if I throw it in with all the rest of the stuff, I might get something like this. Get a little cook in there, you can throw the C blues in there as well. So now, what else can you do? Well, another thing you can do is over the D minor chord, if you wanted to, you could play D blues. And when you look at D blues, so it works, of course, over D minor. Okay, but how does it work over G? Okay. It kind of has some altered tones. This would be the flat 9. Okay. So now you got some other stuff that you can do in there. Let's go back. So here is A blues, D blues. Did you hear that, D? You can get a lot of mileage out of a blues scale depending on how you use it. Isn't that crazy? I think it is. It's cuckoo. So experiment with that. I think it's very interesting. Get that blues scale potential lesson, because we also do other things, other examples of doing that, of using combination of blues scales to get different sounds. And believe it or not, that blues scale kind of really speaks to people. So, and like somebody said here, Benson does it a lot. Yep, even on bebop tunes. And that's absolutely true. Yeah, so check it out. Been a while, enjoying my 335 or my 535 in Philly. Oh, cool.
Just real quick though, that blues scale is our lesson that's on sale this week. The collection, blues scale collection, 33% off. Cost you like what I think it's $15, and there's like 105 minutes worth of video, like so much material for $15. You'll learn all of that stuff and more. So go buy this lesson for sure before it goes not on sale anymore, which will happen Tuesday.
Well, thank you, Wes. Thank you. That's good. Yeah, so get it if you can. So I think that's about it. You know what? I'm going to play BREEZIN one more time, and just to kind of mess around with all those scales, and listen for it. And I'm just going to play blues scales, and see if you can hear the difference between all of the ones I presented. The A minor, the E minor, or the E blues scale. And I'm not talking pentatonic, by the way. And that's another subject on, because pentatonics, we always go, right, that. Well, why not a pentatonic that goes, right? Instead of the regular 5/8. Wow, that's a cooler sounding pentatonic scale. But anyway, that's another subject. So see if you can pick out these scales. Okay? Sound like fun? Yeah, so that was just blue scales. So it's kind of fun, huh? So do your wood shedding on that. Well, you guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Wes, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just that for PDO 332, we start every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time.
Right.
So set your alarm for next Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, which would be 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Wow, man.
See how I did that?
Major math skills,
Yes.
man. Holy
See,
man. Upper math. Holy jeez, man. Good job, Wes. I want to thank Wes. And if you like what he did, please send along a tip. Gail, thank you for doing all that stuff, sweetheart. And thank you very much for joining us. I will see you guys. Again, check out my strings and the amp and all that good stuff and the lessons. And I will